Virginity is a social construct. White dresses flirt with skeletons in motherhood closets. They flutter from cliff edges, clinging to sea salt. They are the Molly of traditional sexuality derived from church's princess dresses and their sisters' healing bruises. They sink in plastic bins overflowing with torrential rain of irrelevance. We are called a modern generation. Labels live on the spines of VHS tapes and home videos, but we already know how those end. There are no surprises when progression moves like flowers dying in a vase. Those labels should have stayed on their spines because the walls are harsh, not even eggshell, and they bleach our bodies. According to these boxes, your first is the best story, is the emotional trapdoor and the violin strung with heartstrings and throbbing blood. Your first should be like when you let the sun creme brulee your eyes for the first time. The sugary dew is caramelized by flames. The grass cracks as you run through it towards the mountains who hold our burning moon in the crooks of their diamond arms. But the sun rises every day. It is not unique. It is not the pattern of blisters on a carpenter's hand, nor the smile that grows on a 6-year-old's face when his parents finally return from date night. You should have noticed that every time you expected tradition to support your life choices, the bar fell several inches. You should have ditched it altogether, swung from your joints and into your own body. Instead, you fumbled through a playground in someone else's skin, slipping from the monkey bars of maturity's expectations. You tried holding on after hearing there would be 3D fireworks. They would singe your skin, leave an impression, make you crave one individual, make you dependent on the one who would cast your flower into a lake to drift, and drown. You thought that saying yes would mean knowing the password when you knocked on adulthood's door. But the monkey bars cracked and you landed on melting ice, a too small mattress with stale sheets, a headache, and boozy breath. Your body was anonymous driftwood, getting caught up in every undertow, nearly drowning under the weight of a dizzy wake-up and an unfamiliar ceiling. Where were your sparkly Christmas lights? You nodded yes to join the club, to get it over with. Your pillows were smarter. They mumbled with stale vodka spit, asking, "Are you sure you're ready?" You nodded again. Yes, you've been convincing yourself that your body is good enough for someone else to touch for too long now. So you said yes by letting him pull off your remaining clothes like pulling the last few weeds from a vegetable garden. He acts like they're hard to handle, maneuvering them like pine cones he's trying not to step on. Your body was a pine cone. He tried so hard to enjoy your skin that it tore. It was a shell you couldn't help. He couldn't trade breath to dissolve into your lungs, but shoved carbon dioxide through your jaw anyway. The attachment you felt was mental. Nothing could make your heart swell. You were worried a shaking rib might puncture it. The sun was up and your white dress was torn in the thorns of fairy tales stained by manufactured emotion. You fucked up the midnight rule and let a boy earthquake his way inside you at 9:05 a.m. still a little stumbly. You draped your clothes back on, tried to feel more like an evening downpour and less like a humid summer, but they didn't fit right. All stretched in desperation, like using a too small blanket to warm your toes and chest simultaneously, which is why you wanted companionship in the first place. You were the way grape skin feels against teeth when you've peeled it from the fruit. You were your own disappointment, your lungs slowly filling with porcupine concerns. You wanted to cough it all out through the endless regret, but your throat kept catching on the needles you swallowed after they etched empty on your hip bones. Your keys were behind someone else's locked door, so you melted and froze on a carpet carpeted with awkward glances drenched in confusion. If you had said no, if you had trusted your scars and anxious tendencies instead of your desire to balance checkbooks and drink black coffee while pretending you're not sad, you wouldn't have changed. You'll keep being sad, but at least you'll trust your mouth to echo the bumblebees in your chest when you can't articulate the rantings your heart is trying to wrap in cellophane. Your heart wasn't meant to be leftovers, should never be left for the dogs, never given away secondhand. I love thrift stores, but I sometimes hate myself for buying someone else's ex-girlfriend's shirt, since I'll never be her to him, or me to someone like me. My polka dot dresses fail to match the striped scarves that hang from my eyelashes at night. If you had said no, if the feather stems and the pillows had pricked you enough, you would have been a tease. Someone would have knocked over your old box, ripped your old label like duct tape from your silenced lips. You would have toppled into a new bin, not condoned by Disney, but taped up with mocking grins and shock. Apparently our society's expectations were sewn into our skin clearly enough for anyone to see. You were told your first would be a lightning bolt, but it was mostly just disexpectation and tinfoil flavors between your legs, plus the longest lockout of your life. So please, do not assume that the white dress, that social construct, that box made by movie scripts and predictable books stemming from traditions, means anything about someone's decision-making, or lack thereof, or individualism. It might not relate to lightning or fire of any kind, and the disappointment is never worth the hype. Do not assume that when that dress changes into something red or used or torn, it must mean something greater than bulky bodies struggling to crush pine cones.